What's up, guys? Welcome back to Solemn Wednesday, the thinking man's true crime stream. So, yeah, basically today, Sonic Wednesday can't go this week. So we're going to do something a little different. It's going to be no mirth. We can have a little bit of fun, but a reasonable, practical amount of fun. That's what we're going for tonight. Welcome. So yeah, basically tonight what we're going to do, something a little different. We're going to do Solemn Wednesday. So we are going to be investigating the Idaho murders. Yes, Jordan has Jordan has long COVID. So he shan't be joining us. So we'll have a nice, moderate, practical amount of fun tonight, and also maybe learn something on the side. So we are going to be investigating, and I think, maybe not tonight, but I think we have a pretty strong chance of cracking this case, of maybe we find something the authorities have missed in YouTube videos. And we might blow this thing wide open. There's a definite chance that we blow this dang thing wide open. Myron, welcome back to Solemn Wednesday, the thinking man's true crime stream. Jordan couldn't join us today due to long COVID-related illnesses. So tonight we're going to be doing a solemn, practical, educational, true crime stream investigating the Idaho murders. Yes, Sonic has been killed by the Idaho murderer. We will return to Sonic Wednesday when we can, but for the time being, we're going to have a nice, somber, low LPM, laugh per minute, true crime stream. So, so we're going to do the Idaho murders. I assume people are broadly familiar with it. I am not especially. My usual assumption is if the police charge you with something, you're probably guilty, and should go away forever. But, a reliable source, who for their protection I will leave unnamed, has informed me that there might be something more to this case. There might be something that the authorities have missed. Can we check on the Chow Garden after the murder is solved? Maybe, but this is not Sonic Wednesday. This is Solemn Wednesday. Chow Garden's more of a Sonic Wednesday thing. Solemn Wednesday is a more of sitting, tented fingers, and monitoring the situation, solving crimes, tracking down the clues that the police might have missed. So, apparently, there's more to this case than meets the eye. I'm going to hop into the general channel on Discord here if anyone wants to hop in. Just if you do that, you will have to talk to the Discord rather than the stream, because there will be some delay. But yeah, I think we'll be rev turning to the Chow Garden next week. Kino made his... Oh yeah, John, how did your Sonic stream go? Did you make us look like incompetent assholes? But anyway, we're going to dig into this Idaho murder stuff here. Apparently, there is more here than meets the eye. I'm not too familiar with the case. I gathered a big old stack of videos here for us to watch, which we may or may not get through, because it seems like there are dozens of channels with hundreds and hundreds of hours each Yeah, yes, this is my Asmongold arc. We're going Asmongold mode, which means, can we get the... Yes, absolutely. That's what we're going to do, because my understanding is this case goes deep. But we're going to start with some overview stuff. This may have to be a multi-episode thing, because, as I was saying, it seems like there's dozens of channels with hundreds of hours digging into this. So yes, we're going to be watching a video for 5 seconds. I will pause it, and I will say true or possibly false or possibly curious. And when we come across clues, we can add them to the clue board here, the cork board, the crime board. And then every night I will be emailing the FBI with our findings. And we might blow this thing wide open. Yes, so a broad overview. We're going to do, just a forewarning, the stuff tonight might be pretty like normie, blue-pilled, non-noided stuff. But these are the Idaho college murders. So my understanding is a couple years ago, maybe a year ago, 4 college kids living in a house in Idaho got brutally murdered in the middle of the night. And then the guy who is currently on trial for it is a kind of creepy-looking dude, not from Idaho. And my understanding is, this cat here, kind of sinister, a little bit creepy. And my understanding is like what they're saying about it. Yes, he does look like Richard Hanania. Truth nuke. He looks like Richard Hanania. Well, we're gonna find out if the Noid did it. We're gonna get fully Noided, but I think to start we're gonna do some like normie blue pill stuff. Because my understanding is what they say is that he's some like criminology student who was attempting to do like, the perfect crime, to like prove that he was a criminal mastermind genius, the Joker style guy, which apparently might not be the case at all. And that's what we're going to find out by using the method, the Asmongold method of watching 5 seconds of a video, and then I will pause it and say true. I might say false. I might say, curious. And we'll use that method to crack this case wide open. So I thought we could start with the 9/11 call here. And then we can move our way down until we get fully noided on the case. I'm just going to move that over there. All right, let's bust into it. Oh, thank you, Uggo. I'm loving the cork board. I will have to use one to explain Robotech, Battletech, MechWarrior to everyone in the gaming Discord. Yes, we will have the cork board for collating clues here. Because this is serious stuff, People are dead. More people could die. The real killer could still be out there. And I think it's incumbent upon us in the Sonic Wednesday community, the Solemn Wednesday community, to crack this case. Where do Troons fit into Battletech more? Can I get a fact check, Uggo? Are there Troons in Battletech? There definitely are in Sonic. But anyway, let's get going here. I'll pause in 5 to 10 seconds.
Emergency. Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
Panic and fear from the surviving roommates in the Idaho murders as audio of the 911 call is released. I'll play that call and look at what it could reveal about the crime.
Tell me exactly what's going on. One of the roommates is passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Okay. Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night.
Thanks for joining me. I'm Anjanette Levy, and this is Crime Fix. It's been more than 27 months since 4 University of Idaho students were murdered in a home near campus after spending the night hanging out with friends after a football game. And after all of this time, we are finally hearing the 911 call the surviving roommates made.
I'm hearing reports the same dude who did this killed Nicole Brown Simpson, which is somewhat distressing if he's still on the loose. And who knows where he could strike next. Yeah, this is rough stuff.
The horror inside that home on King Road, unimaginable. Maddie Mogan and Kayla Gonsalves had been stabbed to death. They were in the same bed on the 3rd floor. Xana Kernodle and her boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, were also stabbed to death and were dead in her bedroom on the 2nd floor. This is the last known photo of the 4 with the 2 surviving roommates. Recently, the transcript of the 911 call came to light in a motion filed by prosecutors, but the audio of the call submitted with it was filed under seal. But now that actual audio has been released. The 911 call led to a massive criminal investigation involving police in Moscow, Idaho, Idaho State Police, and the FBI. More than a month later, Brian Koberger, a PhD student at nearby Washington State University, was charged with breaking into the home and murdering Maddie, Kaylee, Ethan, and Xana.
That is pretty sus.
He was studying criminology. I'm going to play that call for you in its entirety, and then we'll talk about it.
11:55 a.m. 42 seconds, November 13, 2022.
911 location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what.
What is the address of the emergency?
1122.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Okay. And is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address to make sure that I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the White, so we're next to them.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address, 1122 King Road.
And tell me exactly what's going on.
One of the roommates has passed out, and she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up.
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last night. Yeah. Hi, this is
And are you with the patient? Okay, I need someone to keep the phone, stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened pretty much?
What is going on currently? Is someone passed out right now?
I don't really know, but pretty much at 4 a.m.
Okay, I need to know what's going on right now if someone is passed out. Can you find that out?
Yeah, I'll come. Come on, Bethany, we gotta go check. But we have to. Is she passed out? She's passed out. What's wrong? She's not waking up.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, this is somewhat what are we thinking so far? Because it seems somewhat puzzling. Because presumably you could tell the difference between someone being passed out and dead, especially if it's like a violent murder. But I don't know. Hello, Rianne. Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. Yeah, I'm a little puzzled by this call because I thought it was like a knife murder thing, but I haven't studied this much, so yes, I'll go. We'll study transsexuality and battletech at a later date. We have a mystery to solve.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
I'm not sure
20,
if she's up to anything. I haven't really drawn
20,
okay.
any conclusions quite
Hello?
yet.
Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around because I've talked to 4 different people.
Okay, sorry, they just gave me the phone.
Is she breathing?
Hello?
Is she breathing?
LGBT Max.
No.
Okay.
Perhaps.
Bethany, Dylan, I need you to keep talking to them, okay?
I mean, we might have to do a couple Solemn Wednesdays to fully crack this case, but typically I think we'll probably do Solemn Wednesday on a day other than Wednesday, because Wednesday is for Sonic Wednesday. And we'll do Solemn Wednesdays could maybe be on like a
Can't talk to them. I need you to talk to them.
Hello.
Okay. I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line. If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
Say that again?
Yes, real John.
There's a police here right now.
Okay.
Can we get an early
If there is a
check on this
defibrillator available,
911
send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it.
What are we thinking?
We don't have one. I think yes. Do you have a defibrillator? Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
Okay, thank you. Bye.
Okay.
11:59 a.m. 49 seconds, November 13, 2022.
I want to tell you about something that Megyn Kelly has out right now.
It's a very puzzling 911 call, because my impression was this was supposedly like a knife crime thing. And now it could be that college-age women just do not have their shit together enough to notice that their roommate has been stabbed to death. That's, I guess, plausible. But yeah, we'll
truly gripping and incredible investigative documentary on her YouTube channel. The disappearance of baby Lisa Irwin has been a mystery for more than a decade. Who took her from her crib in the middle of the night? And could she possibly still be alive? Megyn Kelly is taking you back inside the case in a special new 5-part series, Megyn Kelly The panic in the voices of those surviving roommates as the phone was passed around to their friends. One of their friends discovered Xana, according to a process.
I mean, listen, this is some peak Zoomer shit here. Passing your 911 call around to your friends.
Execution motion. The motion states, HJ located the unresponsive body of Xana Kernodle and informed BF and DM to call 911. Those are the surviving roommates. EA was present at that time. All declarants personally perceived the event, i.e. Kernodle unresponsive. The majority of the declarations were describing to dispatcher Carolina Calvin what they were perceiving, i.e. present sense impressions. Those statements relate to Kernodle being passed out and not waking up. The declarations were made immediately after HJ discovered Kernodle's body. I want to bring in Gray Hughes of the Gray Hughes Investigates YouTube channel.
I don't really want to hear their commentary. That was the whole 911 call, I guess? We'll skip around. Maybe we'll go to a more noisy video.
There in front of you is the storage room, and then that door that's open.
Source engine.
This right now.
Map.
House, because a lot of people have gone online.
In the outside of it, and from outside, this right down here is Bethany's room. This is where the storage.
Okay, I think I got like an overview here. Let's check that out. So, what's our first clue from the 911 call? Zoomers can't use phones. Okay, I guess this program for dead. Idaho. Okay, so the first batch of clues here. Here, I got an overview video here. This one might be
On November 13th, 2022, these 4 university students were discovered stabbed in their home in Moscow, Idaho. Local police described the case as very complex, and it took more than 6 weeks for a suspect to be arrested. We pieced together information from a case affidavit released by authorities, verified publicly available evidence, and pulled in ABC News reporting to create a visual timeline outlining significant events in this case. I'm Emmanuel Saliba, a senior reporter with ABC News. It's around 9 p.m. local time on Saturday, November 12th in Moscow, Idaho. According to an affidavit released by authorities, Zana Kernodle and her boyfriend Ethan Chapin are seen hanging out at the Sigma Chi house. It's about a 5-minute walk from their off-campus house on King Road. Zana's roommates Kaylee Gonsalves.
I'll just say this now. I've heard rumors from reliable sources that Sigma Chi house might be involved in this somehow. There are some people are saying that. Many people, in fact. So keep that in mind.
And Madison Mogan are at the Corner Club. It's a historic sports bar in town.
Yes, the Sigma Chow house. Keep that in mind. Write that. Everybody on your corkboards, add that to the board. Sigma Chow house. Also keep in mind, right now we're listening to woke, blue-pilled normie media. So take everything here with a grain of the salt. We're just getting sort of an overview. We're doing some background. But this, there could be a lot more to this story than we're getting in Blue Pill ABC News.
They stay at the bar for about 3 hours, according to an affidavit released by authorities. And around 1:30 a.m., Kaylee and Maddie leave the corner bar. The next available images we have of them are in this surveillance footage obtained by ABC News. They're heading towards a local food truck, which is about a 6-minute walk from the bar. Police say this man with them is not a suspect.
Well, it is what it is, guys. It is.
This is the Grub Truck. They have been streaming live on Twitch since about 10 p.m. And around 1:41 a.m., we see all three of them walk into frame. Maddie and Kaylee order food.
Have a good night. Bye. Hello. Hi. Welcome back.
Thanks. I think I would like the carbonara.
Okay.
Cool. Thank you.
Absolutely.
How many more do you need? That's the second one? Awesome.
Dawn's mom.
$10 for it.
Perfect.
How's that? Is my mic? Is my mic a bit louder now?
Thank you very much.
I can
They
turn the
wait
video
around
down
for
a
about
bit,
10
too.
minutes. Around 1:51 a.m., they grab food from the truck window and walk out of frame. Police confirm that at this point they get picked up by a car service. And about 6 minutes later, they arrive
I took
at
off
home
our special
on King
hacker
Road.
filter so I could say
According to an
true over the
affidavit,
videos
Ethan and
without
Zana
muting
already in
them.
the house, along with 2 other roommates. 2:47 a.m. According to police, a phone belonging to the suspect, Brian Koberger, stops connecting to the cell network in nearby Pullman, Washington. This is where he lives and studies criminology as a PhD student at Washington State University.
So here he is. This is our first look at the guy. Physiognomy check. What are we saying? He looks a lot like Richard Benania. That's a strike against him. Are those the eyes of a killer? He looks very base. Maybe maybe that's why he's being framed.
2:53 a.m. Authorities say a white sedan
Doesn't strike me
consistent
as a
with a
hobby
vehicle
guy.
registered to Koberger is.
Yeah, let's go back to there a bit. The long snout of a lizard and dead MK Ultra eyes. And intelligence. Koberg. Wait, what's this guy's name? Koberger. Can we get an early life check on Brian Koberger? Normies hate him because he's a handsome, tall, white man. Could be. Getting some mixed reviews in the chat here. Did they just pick a long-nosed white man to pin it on? Where did he do it?
2:53 a.m. Authorities say a white sedan consistent with a vehicle registered to Koberger is seen traveling towards the highway
Is
that
Brian
connects
Koberger
Pullman
a
and
victim
Moscow.
of cancel
It's
culture?
only about
That's
a
the question.
10-mile drive between the two cities. At 3:29 a.m., surveillance footage obtained by police from the King Road neighborhood
Is Brian
captures a
Koberger
white
white?
sedan making an initial drive by the victim's house. Authorities say this car will make another 2 passes in the next 30 minutes. It's 4 a.m. According to the affidavit, Zana receives a DoorDash delivery. And a source tells ABC News that the delivery is contactless and the order is left at the front door. A surviving roommate would later tell authorities that around this time, 4 a.m., she wakes up to what sounds like Kaylee playing with her dog in the room on the 3rd floor.
DoorDash.
She also
Twitch.
reports hearing someone say,
Not being
"There's
able to
someone
talk
here."
on the phone.
4:04
Definitely
a.m.,
Zoomers.
Authorities say the white sedan is seen driving into the
I'm prepared
neighborhood
to
a
declare
4th
that.
time. 4:12 a.m.
Is Brian
According to
Koberger
phone
white?
records obtained by police, Zana is awake
TBD.
and using TikTok. The affidavit states that the same surviving roommate says she hears what sounds like crying coming from Zana's room. She opens her door a second time and says she hears a male voice say something to the effect of, "It's okay, I'm going to help you." At 4
Well, okay, he's going to help her. That's kind of unusual for a murderer to do that. Not
17
typical
a.m.,
murderer behavior.
This security camera on a neighbor's home picks up distorted audio of what sounds like voices or a whimper followed by a loud thud. A dog can also be heard barking numerous times. This camera is less than 50 feet from Zana's bedroom. The affidavit states the surviving roommate then opens her door a 3rd time. She sees a masked man walking past her towards the sliding glass door in the kitchen. In frozen shock, she locks her door. 4:20 a.m. Police say the white sedan is seen leaving the neighborhood at a high rate speed.
Possibly true,
5:25
possibly
a.m.
real.
Authorities say that
Somebody
same
didn't
vehicle
help.
is seen on
That's
5
for sure.
cameras
Was
back
it
in the
Brian?
Pullman area
Are they lying on my
near
boy?
where the suspect lives. And then, between 9:12 and 9:21 a.m., police say data collected shows the suspect's phone appearing near the scene of the murders. About 8 hours after the killings, a 911 call
Yes,
reports
everything
an
here is
unconscious
alleged.
person
This is
at the
all
scene of the crime.
alleged.
Shortly after, Moscow
information.
police discover the bodies of 4 students.
The facts of the case that we know right now.
November
Moscow.
16th, police reveal the 4 victims were stabbed to death.
Moscow,
Before we're
yeah.
stabbed with a knife.
Were there
no
any
weapon
local Shadow
has
the
been located at
Hedgehogs
this time.
in the area? That would be a good question that the police should be
We are
asking.
eternally grateful that we spent so much time with him.
This is Ethan's mom.
How
on
many
November
Shadow the
30th,
Hedgehogs
at a
were
visual
around?
honoring her son and
In
the 3
Moscow.
other victims.
Moscow,
That's the most important
Idaho.
message that we
Okay.
have for you and your families is to make sure that you spend as much time as possible with those people, because time is precious and it's something you can't get back.
We're looking for a 2011 to a 2013 Hyundai Elantra.
December 7th, no
Of course,
suspects
it could
have
have been
been
a
publicly identified, and Moscow police
Mesopotamian.
appeal to the public for help.
A lot of
Any
Mesopotamians
assistance
in
you can give
Moscow,
us,
Idaho. eh?
Anybody that owns one,
Yeah.
anybody that knows of someone who owns
How
one
many
or may have been
shadows?
driving
How
one,
many knuckles
if
were
you
in
could
the
get a
area?
hold of us,
That's the
through
first
our
question
tip
they should
line
be asking.
Or call us directly. We'd appreciate that.
December 15th.
And how many knuckles are
Koberger
involved in
and
this
his father are
case?
driving
You know?
eastbound on I-70 when they get pulled over by a Hancock County Sheriff's deputy.
Hello. How you doing? How y'all doing today? Good, good.
Wait, who's that guy
Take a
he's
look at
with?
your driver's license real quick if I could. See, he's right up on that van, man. You're right up on the back end of that van. So you're coming from Washington State University, and you're going where?
Wait a second.
You're going to be going. Washington State University, and you're going where?
What are we thinking, boys? What are we thinking there? Possible knuckles. Possible knuckles.
Oh. We're going to be going to Pennsylvania. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So we're slightly punchy because we're driving for hours.
Hours, days.
They're driving across the country to their family home in Pennsylvania.
Okay. But do me a favor, don't follow too close, okay?
10 minutes later, they are pulled over again, but this time by Indiana State Police.
When you guys drive somewhere with your dad, do you drive? That seems crazy to me.
Both departments would later say they had no identifying information on the suspect at the time of these stops or the alleged vehicle involved. The Indiana State Police added in another statement that its agency wasn't directed by the FBI to make the traffic stop. 15 days later, Koberger is arrested in Pennsylvania. The FBI identified the suspect
Yeah, is
by
that normal to
linking
get
DNA
pulled
evidence
over
from the
multiple
crime
times on the
scene
same
to a
drive in
public
America?
genealogy database. January 3rd, he is extradited back to Idaho, where he is charged with felony burglary.
This guy looks shifty here. Do we know where he was on the night of the murder? Just out of these three guys, I think the guy on the left looks the most guilty, not this guy. Look at those eyes. Look at his shifty-ass eyes.
4 counts of first-degree murder. In a statement, his extradition lawyer in Pennsylvania said his client was eager to be exonerated.
Guy.
The suspect remains in custody, awaiting his next court appearance.
Okay, so that's a broad strokes overview. Right off the bat, what are we thinking? Did Brian Koberger do it? Is he guilty? Is he innocent? Is he being railroaded? Was it a shadow? Was it a Knuckles? Innocent. I'm hearing innocent in the chat. Innocent, no guilty. Not guilty. Okay. Yeah, getting suicides all around. That's an interesting hypothesis. Oh, I think he did it. Innocent until proven guilty. True. Real. Let's get into, so we have a broad strokes here. Let's pop over to one of these more noited videos. This dude has literally hundreds of hours on this case. This was the oldest one, so I'm going to assume it's sort of starting at the beginning to some extent. Yeah, I think the trial... Yeah, it's going on right now, yeah. Okay. He did it because he's a chud and is jealous of pretty girls. Is that the motive they have right now? I really have, basically no information on this case at this point, which is what we're doing here, is trying to gather, where it's a fact-finding mission. How many subs does the Noida channel have? 8,000. 8,100. And yeah, this was the... I'm here to help you. Sounds like something a cop... Sounds interesting. That's an interesting comment there. Sounds like something a cop would say. Yeah, I mean, I will say, maybe I'm naive, but my usual inclination is kind of like, if somebody gets accused of a crime, they probably did it. But maybe I'm out to lunch on that one. But anyway, let's get a little noited with it here. See what this guy has to say. Hearing reports he actually got mad puss and is not an incel chud.
Welcome to the Chaos
What's up,
Sector.
Twinton? Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. Could have been speeding in Indiana. Are y'all not allowed to speed in America?
Hope you all are enjoying.
You gotta go crazy to get pulled over
but
for
we have to
speeding
briefly
here.
come back to the current news on the case. I have a question. What could Bethany Funk possibly know that would benefit Koberger?
This robot woman
His
sounds
defense
kinda
has
hot.
subpoenaed her to testify. That's interesting, don't you think? If anything, it suggests that Funk was not asleep, right? Did she see someone else? Did she hear someone else, like multiple people inside the home? Did she observe anything that would exonerate Koberger of all charges against him? Well, the defense believes her testimony is key to that exoneration. Furthermore, if her testimony would exonerate Koberger, then this means it would also contradict or expose Dylan's accounts as well. And the avalanche just wipes away everything claimed prior, such as his DNA found on a knife sheath, Koberger stalking Kaylee Gonzalez, Koberger attempting to communicate with her on social media, the so-called digital evidence that was allegedly collected. Something tells me that Bethany's accounts are based on something that contradicts Koberger even being physically at that home. Which segues us into addressing the surveillance. Recently, there has been a so-called leak of surveillance footage from Linda Lane, which is near the victim's home. It does display a white vehicle pulling into the parking lot around 4:05 a.m. Now, this would seem to be devastating evidence.
Yeah, I wonder if this is like a a real robot woman or a BattleTech style robot woman. He looks like Ted Bundy. True. Yeah, a Hanania Bundy blend. I mean, he is like, if they were trying to pin it on somebody, he does look a little shady, you know what I mean? Like, I can see why he might be a good choice for that.
Against Koberger, right? Not so fast, because there are a few problems with this recent leak. Also, Koberger's alibi was that he simply drove around at night, and everyone assumes this is admission of guilt, in a subtle way. Not so fast, again. Do you honestly think someone who claims the DNA found in the home is not his, nor is the vehicle spotted in surveillance not his, and, Bethany Funk being called to testify, would rely on that reason as his alibi? It was simply a sarcastic jab at the prosecution, who has actually violated a few court proceedings. But let's address the surveillance, because this is what everyone is focusing on at this point. Why didn't Moscow PD reveal any surveillance of Koberger near that home? They don't have any surveillance of Koberger's vehicle, that's why. Remember, they had the surveillance before Koberger was even a person of interest. I repeat, they obtained surveillance from some neighborhood camera before, that's right, before Koberger was even thought of. The media presented surveillance from a gas station, showing a white vehicle speeding down the road. But, this couldn't have been the only surveillance at the time, because this is not near the crime scene. What does this mean? This means the authorities obtained surveillance from somewhere near the crime scene, and somehow chose to keep this from the public? The gas station surveillance was, quote, released to the public, yet no actual surveillance footage from the actual area near the crime scene? If a potential suspect has fled the scene of the murder, and you have surveillance footage showing that vehicle physically near that home, your duty as a police department is to alert the public about this potential suspect, as they would be assumed to have stabbed for people to death. Once again, Koberger was not the suspect at that point, it was an unidentified killer. Moscow PD was supposed to provide the residents of Moscow, and throughout Idaho, with that surveillance footage near the home, to alert them of the potential danger. In all other crimes, such as homicides, which are caught on camera, the surveillance footage is released to the media, for public awareness. And some of those crimes are literally showing everything happening. Those police departments released that surveillance, yet a vehicle spotted in surveillance assumed to be a killer of college students, is not released? Not even to the local news station of Moscow? Would your local police department do this? Surely not. And of course, that surveillance would cycle through mainstream media. Yet, we only viewed a grainy screenshot of a white vehicle miles away from the scene of the crime.
Chow's sector.
But let's
True.
decipher the terminology used.
True. So we have Sigma Chow fraternity house, Chow's sector YouTube channel. But yeah, I agree. This YouTube voice is kind of I'm not loving it. I feel like whoever runs this channel should have just talked themselves. And also, this one seems a little deep in the weeds. So for someone like me who doesn't really know what's going on, I would really like a little more background still. But which one was it? I was just looking at one that seems like it's pretty freaking noited. I think it was this guy here. Most surveillance is not given to the public. That's crime. And yeah, I don't really want to listen to that robot voice. We're going to see. Was this a coordinated 911 call? We've already covered the 911 call. This seems like a good place to start. What's up with this guy's face, I wonder? Big chin. Looks like that could be a latex mask. Maybe we'll talk about that later.
It was later in the morning when that call was made to 911. from one of the surviving roommate's phones to report an unconscious person.
This guy is recording from a sewer tunnel.
Police were called.
911, location of your emergency.
Hi, something is happening. Something happened in our house. We don't know what. We have...
What is the address of the emergency?
1122... No, don't.
What is the rest of the address?
Oh, Kings Road.
Is this like recreation? Are these the same people? Are these the same voices from the other 911 call? Did they just clean it up, or are they doing like a full-on recreation here? It sounds significantly different. AI recreation. Okay. Yo, what's up, Nick? Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream.
Okay, and is that a house or an apartment?
It's a house.
Can you repeat the address just to make sure I have it right?
I'll talk to you guys. We live at the right, so we're next to that.
Okay, yeah, this channel seems fully noited. If you look at some of the other videos on this, human sacrifice and phoenix rising symbolism. That seems important. Biased and inadequate investigation. The Fetty Bros, drug related. This one could be good.
I need someone to repeat the address for verification.
The address? 1122 King Road.
And what's the phone number you're calling from?
Hey, what's your phone number? What's the rest?
Okay, and tell me exactly what's going on.
I don't want to harsh on these people too much because that's a crazy situation, but passing your phone off to your friend to make a 911 call seems wild to me.
Maybe
I'm just built different. I can order at restaurants and
out,
everything.
And she was drunk last night, and she's not waking up. Oh, we saw...
Okay.
Oh, and they saw some man in their house last...
I was informed by a reliable source that there was more to this case than meets the eye. And when Sonic Wednesday was no-go, it was kind of either this or doing a Eurovision stream, and I thought this would be more interesting.
Last night. Yeah. Hi.
So far, is there more than meets the eye? I don't know. Maybe. Could be, for sure.
Okay, I need someone to keep the phone. Stop passing it around.
Can I just tell you what happened, pretty much?
What is going on currently?
They're really doing this girl dirty on their recreation
I don't really
here.
know, but pretty much at 4
Really?
a.m.
She wasn't that
I
bad.
need to know what's going on right now.
Yeah, Eurovision did end, but I think I'm like the only person in North America who watches Eurovision, so I assumed that spoilers would be irrelevant, but I talk about it on the upcoming episode that'll come out tomorrow, but this year's Eurovision was like a total disaster, even by Eurovision's like bar on the floor low standards. All right, Nick is saying he's it's a little suspicious to just claim you have an alibi out of the blue, but
Someone is passed out. Can you find
you probably got the bread to back it up.
Come on. Let's go. We gotta go check. But we have...
Fact check, Manic Fugue. Israel did not win Eurovision. Every year they cheat, and then the Eurovision committee picks whatever the gayest song is, and stacks on that en masse, specifically to avoid Israel cheating their way into winning, because they desperately do not want to have to do the show in Israel right now. The exact same thing happened last year where Israel cheated on the phone lines, and the Eurovision Central Committee all stacked behind one exceptionally gay song and handed it to that. Look it up. Look it up.
Is she passed out?
It happens every single year.
Dispatching Moscow Law Ambulance for...
Yeah, she's not waking up.
Unconsciousness, 1122 King Road.
70 is en route.
Okay, one moment. I'm getting help started that way.
Okay, maybe...
1122 King Road. All ambulance respond for unconsciousness. 1122 King Road.
I copy.
58. Multiple RPs on the phone advised saying the roommate on scene is passed out and not waking up.
Typically, Eurovision, there's two standards for how you vote. You basically, if you're like a bot created by Mossad, you vote for Israel. And if you're part of the Eurovision Central Committee, you vote for whoever the gayest LGBT performer is. Those are kind of the two Eurovision standards. There typically is not good music to vote for. That's not really what Eurovision's about. Eurovision is about promotion of Israel and promotion of LGBT lifestyle, and some years, promotion of replacement migration. That's usually what Eurovision's all about. Music is really secondary. Do I think Asmongold? No, I don't think anyone will cover Eurovision. Maybe a lot of interest in Eurovision here, but maybe I will do it. I assume nobody else but me watches Eurovision, so I figured I could do it whenever. And no one would be any the wiser. But yeah, no, Jordan has long COVID, so that's why he can't be here tonight. So we're doing Solemn Wednesdays. Fact: Israel is part of Asia. That's why I unlocked a new slur. Yeah, why Israel is even in Eurovision is a matter of some debate. Yes, that true, Myron. They did a couple years ago. They decided to do Ukraine was the thing of the year, and now every year Ukraine has some tearjerker ass pity me song, but nobody gives a fuck anymore. So now it just kind of ends up being Israel versus the gays every year. But this year was, usually there's one maybe two songs that are kind of okay, for a Eurovision song, which is a whole different standard from an actual good song. But this year there really was not. Part of that's because they kicked Russia out, and Russia would sometimes cheat by sending actually good music. But yeah, some chuds were on Eurovision this year. But yeah, Ukraine. Yeah, everybody's. Usually the sonic thumbnail gets everybody's blood pumping a bit, so everybody's on best behavior tonight. And also, this is Solemn Wednesday. This is a whole different thing. This is a solemn, respectful stream. Sullen Wednesday. So when Jordan is gone, we go anti-Israel rhetoric. Yeah.
Believe she got drugged last night, and something about.
I don't think an end tower would be appropriate on Solemn Wednesday. That's more of a. Let's do Israel towers. Everyone do an Israel tower in the chat there for Solemn Wednesday.
That one I copy. About 20-year-old female unconscious trying to get further.
Copy. Yeah, it's Evan.
Okay, and how old is she?
She's 20.
20, you said?
Yes, 20. Here, do you want to talk to him?
Okay.
Hello?
Okay, I need someone to stop passing the phone around.
No.
Okay, sorry. They just gave
You're
me the
doing
phone.
it wrong, Goblin Slayer. It's not an Israel tower.
Okay.
Bethany or Dylan, I need you to talk to them, okay? I can't talk to them. You need to
John.
talk to them.
Hey.
John on the roof.
Hello?
Okay, I've already sent the ambulance and law enforcement. Stay on the line.
Okay.
If there is a defibrillator available, send someone to get it now and tell me when you have it. Units responding, RPs advising. The patient is not breathing. Okay, if there is a defibrillator available, send someone
Oh,
to
we
get
got a
it
pretty
now and tell me
decent
when you have it.
Israel
We
tower
don't
there.
have one.
Unconscious,
That's pretty
not
good.
breathing.
Do you have a defibrillator?
Yep.
Yes, we have one.
Are you talking to the officer?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to let you go since he's there with you and can help you.
I think this
Okay,
video is
thank you,
going to
bye.
start getting
Okay.
noited soon.
Moscow 46 out. Copy. 13, I think we have a homicide. Moscow engine 20 en route. 13, 70. 70, 107, I relayed it.
Officers responded to a call here on King Road, just south of.
Yes, Commandant John
Police
with the
cars
kill
went
tower
screaming up the street with
for
lights and
disrupting the
sirens.
Israel tower.
They never use lights and sirens. What the hell is going on now?
The release of the 911 call transcript confirms many beliefs we've staunchly held true for the last 2.5 years. Specifically, the transcribed dialogue reveals the caller's callous disregard for our 4 victims, their friends, whose butchered bodies were left lying limp in pools of their own coagulating blood. The lack of concern or urgency in their words.
I mean, that is a kind of wild call if they're lying in pools of blood. Like, that is a peculiar way to go about that call. I mean, I guess in the moment it can be tough, but that like call seems somewhat puzzling. It's all good, John. Good luck on your interview. I'm sure it will devolve into anarchy and chaos in the chat without you, but gotta get your Z's for your big interview.
Is quite chilling, but it's the conscious decisions made by Bethany, Emily, and Hunter to lie by omission regarding the state of the decedents that is most shocking.
Okay, what do we got here? What about the 911 caller who hung up on a ton of people? I'm not familiar with that. Yes, 07's to chat. What's up, Legacy? Welcome back to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime stream. Am I red-pilled on the Harry Horse murder? No, I am not familiar with that one. Mention Sonic Lore Master, true.
And inculpates each of them in, at minimum, the conspiracy to cover these murders up. Innocent self-preservation, frozen shock phase, or the dozen other ridiculous excuses for the delay and dubious report of an unconscious person are no longer viable because these individuals lied. Period.
Wait, was the black lady hung up who was the 911 operator? Not my problem. Okay. Ooh. Well. I ain't got time for that. Okay, that's crazy. That's crazy. The statue of her in Times Square. Yeah. I gotta be checking on my phone right about now.
I have no doubt in my mind that the call was planned and rehearsed before 911 was dialed. In fact, I believe the call was coordinated with the help of law enforcement, whose presence in the neighborhood in the early morning hours of 11/13 is, in my opinion, as sinister as it appears.
Wait, was that Brian Koberger there?
We already know that MPD never intended on honestly investigating or solving these murders. It's not a stretch to conclude that they were, at minimum, informally notified many hours before noon, assisted in the scene cleanup, and orchestrated the cover story. MPD's narrative is evident in Bethany's words on the 911 call, as well as in the recently released text between the so-called surviving roommates. Bethany could hardly wait to tell the operator about the strange...
Her lawyers were doing the typical, well, she had a rough upbringing, so here's a different idea of what an emergency is. I assume she's still... she's probably like the boss of the 911 center now, I would guess.
In their house around 4 a.m., yet opted to exclude anything pertinent to the conditions of the victims or the obvious gravity of the situation. Regurgitating the narrative for the dispatcher was far more important to her than getting help or reporting the deaths of her roommates. So miss me with those trauma response excuses.
People who spoke with them in the aftermath of what they encountered shared this with me, that the officers confronted a sea of silent students.
The officers my boy Howard Blum.
One word.
No need to early life check on that.
The initial responding officers from MPD are Shane Gunderson, Mitch Nunez, and Corbin Smith. Howard Blum's multi-part series Eyes of a Killer, presumably written with the assistance of law...
Wait, did this 911 operator thing just happen? What Foyd is this? This is True Crime Design. So this is an ice-cold true crime style Foyd.
Enforcement sources provides perhaps the most detailed account of the initial response to the scene from MPD's perspective. He writes, quote, "It was 11:58 a.m. on Sunday, November 13th, 2022.
Do we trust this guy? Is that trustworthy facial hair? What do we think?
when the notification of an unconscious person at a residence at 1122 King Road, Moscow, was passed on to Sergeant Shane Gunderson. Gunderson, who on that day was midway through a 12-hour shift
You're
that
not
had
a pirate,
started at
bro.
6 a.m.,
You're not
was
a
running the
freaking
operations
pirate.
division at the sparklingly modernistic, it had opened barely 11 months earlier, South View.
Yeah, let's what would I Google for that? 9/11 operator who doesn't answer calls? We can take a little detour here. That seems reasonable. Oh, this is a black lady? What? That's crazy. I wouldn't have guessed that.
She went through a bad time in her life, and her job performance suffered.
Tonight, the attorney for Krishanda Williams says his client never meant to hurt anyone. She simply thought she was directing incoming emergency 911 calls to operators who were better fit to respond.
She was going on not ready status more than she should have. She had a lot going on in her life.
The defense argued in court this week the Houston Emergency Center should have had a better system in place. They say Williams needed help with her employment, not criminal charges.
These criminal charges do nothing to make the Houston Emergency Center a better functioning call center for all Houstonians. They do nothing to fix the fundamental problems with the management and operation of the Houston Emergency Center.
The Houston Emergency Center wasn't on trial today, and every agency cannot create a fail-safe for any criminal employee. She understood that she couldn't just go on break hours at a time, so this was her way to game the system when she didn't want to work.
Prosecutors say the evidence proved Williams' behavior wasn't a one-time fluke.
Her short calls were 5 times more than any other operator at the Houston Emergency Center.
Tonight, Williams must serve 18 months of probation and 10 days in jail. The law says they want to send a message: if you take this job, people count on you.
You expect the person on the other end of the line to be compassionate and eager and ready to dispatch help out to you.
In downtown Houston, Steve Campion, 13.
Is that normal in America? You call 911 and you get a not my problem lady answering? Yeah, wow, it really is just a statue of her. Civil rights hero Brashetta Williams. No, what was her name? Dan Crenshaw. Yeah. It's crazy how you can tell just from like a bust shot here that this dude is like 5'2". Yes, I'm hearing it. Yes, it is normal. Oh boy. Oh boy. Yes, the Shaniqua pillar. And then you put up a statue to him. Well, that's good. That's good.
Avenue Police Headquarters. When the 911 call came in, Gunderson had a corporal
Her little
and 2
knuckles
other
ass
officers
lawyer.
on duty to
Looks like
assist.
he failed his case. And Crenshaw, she'll get out and she'll get a big payout, I think, and more statues.
Patrol.
More statues.
He could have left the response to them. He certainly, he'd tell people with a hint of embarrassment, had no intimation of something out of the ordinary. That morning, he was simply eager to break the monotony. And as always, he felt strongly it was important for him to get out on the street where people could see him. He swiftly decided he'd go to the scene too with his officers. It was a quick trip. The roads leading into the university neighborhood that Sunday were as empty as the classrooms. And as soon as Gunderson's black and white cruiser pulled up behind the neat row of cars parked in the driveway at the austere, cantilevered house on King Road, he immediately knew something was very wrong. It was the noise. There wasn't any, just an eerie, unnatural silence. A cluster of young people, university students presumably, were milling outside the open front door of 1122 like gulls on a beach, and yet they were exceptionally quiet. They weren't merely subdued. They seemed stunned, as if drained by a deep
who are all of these people?
intense shock.
How many people live in this house?
When the 3 mystified officers approached the front door, someone in the crowd, it would later be shared, muttered a single plaintive word: dead.
Look at that. They're freaking shaking hands right in front of us. Right in front of our freaking faces.
What struck me is, it's not like
Okay, what do we want to learn about first? The drug-related revenge killing or human sacrifice and Phoenix Rising symbolism? Wait, am I eating blue chews on stream? Always, brother. Always. Let's learn about human sacrifice. That's interesting.
Idaho's attempt to buy the University of Phoenix is one step closer to completion. Today, University President Scott Green announced the Higher Learning Commission has approved University of Phoenix's accreditation under the nonprofit that is affiliated with the U of I. Green says U of I is still working with the Northwest Commission on colleges and universities to make sure it supports the affiliation.
Despite U of I's repeated assurances there's no such thing as little or no risk when it comes to corporate acquisitions and debt offerings, particularly in leveraged buyouts, the U of I should be upfront about this. The risk involved in this deal is very high. Okay. I am eating some sweet chili heat Doritos. Based sweet chili heat Doritos. You want to learn about Masonic? Wait, does Forensic Files do Masonic symbolism in movies? Durangos. I eat them damn Durangos. I can't do my stream right now. I'm eating my Durangos. Okay, so they have some sinister transaction. Okay, red flags. Red flag on screen.
The University of Phoenix, they have focused on, they're primarily online, and they focused on adult learners. And that's probably the largest category of...
This guy's not even standing in front of this building. That's a green screen. That's a freaking green screen.
Of educational opportunity in the United States.
He's got money signs in his eyes. I don't trust this guy. 1 inch.
The outpouring of support over the past 6 weeks helped sustain us during the most trying time. It provided the strength that helped us navigate the international scrutiny visited on our students and employees. We are truly thankful for the compassion and acts of kindness shown to our community. Kindness.
I think that's Midwest sex sicko physiognomy, just like Tim Waltz. Thank you, I'll go. Some of those Doritos posted in the Discord. This is yes, Myron, this is exactly like True Detective Season 1 shit. True. So true. Oh yeah, the breast milk Doritos, of course. I don't have a good hookup on those at the moment.
And it provided the light that reclaimed ground lost to evil and darkness. While we cannot bring back Maddie, Kaylee, Zayna, and Ethan, we can thoughtfully and purposefully carry their legacy forward in the work that we do.
Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, Kaylee Goncalves.
Our students come first, and that was proven each and every day of this investigation. We are committed to safely delivering the college town atmosphere, campus experience, and high-touch quality education for which the University of Idaho is known. With time,
I've been getting this like mysterious Polish cherry syrup and putting a little bit of it in my nice glass of milk I have before bed. Ooh, it's good. Ooh, it's good.
We will heal. We will move forward together. And we will remain Vandal strong.
Well, I'm very optimistic, about Greek life in Idaho. Our biggest problem at the moment, is that we just had so many fraternities on campus.
I mean, you can go to bed if you gotta, John. You gotta get your Z's. I'm sure the boys will behave well. We'll actually finish our Israel towers in chat. I appreciate the dedication, but if you got if you gotta sleep, Legacy's starting a Nizreal Israel Tower in chat. Yeah, let's get those Israel Towers going in chat here.
And more that want
getting income. I mean, Solemn Wednesday is no joke. That's for sure. That's like the tagline of Solemn Wednesday. It's no joke.
Come because we're a great environment. Our Greek life is it's an experience.
What is this show? What is this show where like two like weird doughboys interview a university president? How do we get university presidents on?
University of Idaho because of that. It really does attract students. So for us, it's about getting our enrollments to a place that it's stable. My vision for Greek life on the University of Idaho campus is that we have fraternities and sororities that are in demand and stable. And to do that, we've got to get more kids, more students enrolled at U of I. Greeks are natural leaders on our campus, and
we're about to enter what we call an enrollment cliff, and that enrollment cliff is purely demographic. It has to do with the Great Recession of 2000, began in 2008, 2009.
Enrollment cliff.
And families started having fewer children. And so if you fast forward 18 years, you realize that those folks who were born then now are ready to enter college. Well, it's a much smaller population because of the baby bust. Some say it's 15%, possibly 500,000 students that will disappear from college campuses across the country, and so that's going to be a real problem for colleges and universities such as the U of I. Many predict many colleges across the country won't make it, and will be closing down. And frankly, this year I understand there's already been over 90 colleges that have closed down in this country. We're not even in the cliff yet, so. There's just a lot of capacity in the country, and we're about to see supply dry up. So, from a strategic standpoint, that really piqued our interest. Also, it's frankly quite a good deal for the University of Phoenix and for the University of Idaho. The University of Phoenix is a for-profit educational entity at the moment, and that's come with a lot of baggage for them. They would like to be a nonprofit, and we provide an opportunity for them to become that. And that is very significant because that means that all the taxes that they're paying, they'll pay about $20 million in taxes this year.
All right.
And
take her easy, John. Get some rest.
Tens of
Kill
millions
it on your
of
interviews.
A year will now be available to both the University of Phoenix and the University of Idaho.
Let's drop a nice, respectful Israel Tower in chat here, just to prove
it's a good deal for both of us.
That we can behave ourselves
and
without John's
the not-for-profit
sniper reticle
will
on
acquire
our foreheads.
This at less than 2.5 times EBITDA. So all those accountants and business people out there, they'll probably salivate at hearing that. I mean, how many deals do you know that have been transacted at that price? So it's just a great fit from both strategic and financial point of view. And then I'd also just mention their systems are world class.
Not that one. We're doing Israel.
Those systems and
Israel
available
Towers
for student success at Idaho, in the state of Idaho. We can leverage their platforms for our on-campus students and rural placed citizens. So there's just a lot of benefits.
Good job,
I could go
boy.
on and on, but that kind of gives you the reason of why we thought we were this would be really good for us.
Oh, I get it. So the Phoenix is a symbol because the University of Phoenix is getting involved with the University of Idaho. Are you guys putting the freaking pieces together yet? The University of Phoenix? The University of Phoenix is getting involved with the University of Idaho? Phoenix? Like the bird? Right now we're watching a video on human sacrifice and the Phoenix rising symbolism involved in the University of Idaho student murders. Fertility.
We're about to enter what we call an enrollment cliff. And
when it feels its end approaching, it builds a nest with the finest aromatic woods, sets it on fire, and is consumed by the flames. From the pile of ashes, a new phoenix arises, young and powerful. Then it embalms the ashes of its predecessor in an egg of myrrh and flies to the city of the sun, Heliopolis, where it deposits the egg on the altar of the sun god. Okay? Just like in Harry Potter, actually. If y'all remember in Harry Potter, if you get too close to the answers, I can't protect you. My Yarmalook isn't that wide. Yeah, fully sprung, watching Doritos. Hey, this is not Foyd slop. This is actually based True Detective Season 1 slop. This is not the Foyd version of this case. Do you think Foyds are discussing Phoenix symbolism? The University of Phoenix symbolism, like in Harry Potter? I don't think so.
So that's going to be a real problem.
They're watching, is Brian Kohlberger hot videos. We're doing, is Brian Kohlberger Jewish videos.
Colleges and
this is Moid slop,
such as
okay?
the U of I. Many predict many colleges across the
This is
country
season 1, not 4. City of the Sun. The University of Sun worship. Wow. It's not season 4, it's season 1, okay? Yeah, we're doing Brian Kohlberger incel or wincel. So true. So freaking true. The University of Phoenix, okay? Like the bird. Data-driven historical studies, for one, suggest human sacrifices helped communities take on more complex forms. Perhaps this is because the ritual helped people stick together in service of a greater good. Yeah, true. Connections, rose line, bloodline, ley lines.
The scholarship award plaque and photos of Ethan will live on.
Russ, we cracked some pretty sinister stuff, man. I don't know how long you were getting yapped at, but the University of Idaho was getting involved with the University of Phoenix. Phoenix, like the mythical bird, sacrifices itself to rejuvenate itself, young and powerful, similar to human sacrifice. Okay? Okay?
On here at Sigma Chi forever.
Also, I had to deftly deflect the accusations that we were watching Void Slop. Couldn't be further from the truth.
Xana Kernodle. Ethan Chapin. Kaylee Gonçalves. Madison Mogan.
The house was donated to us. Frankly,
also, I analyzed this guy, and he's not even standing there. Where is he? I'm going to guess Israel, but not there. Not Idaho. Not in front of the Idaho arena.
And it really was not safe.
You can tell. Look at that light. This is a photograph. Okay?
As part of the investigation into it. And all that had to be remediated before we could do anything with it. So we completed that remediation. Idaho. We've taken all the personal items out of there and given the families an opportunity to retrieve.
Yes, this is Moid slop. That's true.
Now it's just a matter of...
Wait, okay, so girls are Foyds. Are boys Moids or Boyds? Have we confirmed this? What are we thinking? Moids or Boyds?
of tearing down the house at some point.
Moids?
We aren't going to do it during the school year. We just have too much going on right now. So we deferred that decision, but probably till at least after this semester is done. But the house will come down, and the
house will come down, just like the phoenix's nest will come down. Okay.
Is that we do want to do something with the land that would benefit future students, and so the idea is that we may use it for low income housing or something like that, but and probably get our College of Art and Architecture students involved in that. But we'll see. We still have decisions to make on it, and frankly, I want to make sure that we do what's right for the families and the students.
Yeah, that is true. Boyd would imply Goyd. But Moid sounds like mother. And
so we're taking our time in deciding exactly when and how to do this.
Okay. So, I mean, that video definitely raised some important questions, I think. Officially, it's Moid, but that's only used by Foid cells, so Boyd is probably the safer term. Okay. But, Foid is pretty... what's up, B-Grass? Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. Idaho state bird is the mountain bluebird, and that is the opposite of the sun-red phoenix. I think this true crime guy design is a dip. Do you want to watch more of these ones or more? I got some other ones here. Let's check out this other guy. We can see who we like best as we pursue truth and knowledge and justice. Okay, this guy looks kind of for real. Deep thought, Dorito Crunch connections. True. Goblin, I'm gonna have to ask you to stop calling this Foyd slop. It's season 1 of True Detective, not 4.
Good afternoon, folks. Welcome again to The Revealing. Once again, I am your
This guy's
host,
pretty close to
Potterati,
Black.
Here, explaining all the details.
His head
filling the
is
blanks
rather
on the
cube
Idaho
shaped.
for atrocity. Now, in this video, I'm going to put the final pieces together for you of what is going on and what's going to actually take place in this case. Because I firmly believe that they're going to find Mr. Kohberger guilty of this crime, and then it's the last you're going to hear about it once they do. The reason I believe they're going to find Mr. Kohberger guilty is because law enforcement has manufactured enough evidence and they have enough circumstantial evidence to be able to prove the case. And they already know that he is the assailant. And with that knowledge and being able to convict him and close the case.
That's true. You can always trust a guy who looks like this. If you run into a guy who looks like this and your wallet is kind of weighing down your pocket a bit, just hand it over. He can put it in the front pouch of his hoodie, no problem. Okay, sorry. B-Grass seems to be familiar with this case. His theory is 2 of the victims' parents snitched on Aryans, and the murder was payback. Okay. I mean, B, you'll have to bear with us. I'm not super familiar with this case going into this, so we're here to learn, basically. Much like in season 1 of True Detective. I'd say right now we're only on episode 1, maybe partway through episode 1 of season 1 of True Detective. So we haven't uncovered, deep mysteries quite yet. But apparently Arians are involved. Oh, and Jesus Christ is back. What's up, buddy? What's up, man? Welcome back to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. But yeah, we've just had a lore drop that Arians were involved. Yeah, I noticed this guy has a lot of videos on this.
And get all eyes off of this whole...
Oh, right. I totally forgot about the cork board. Okay, Zoomers can't use phones. Is that a new item here? Okay. What have we learned so far? Phoenix. Okay. University of Phoenix. Like the bird. Okay. New text. Arians? Question mark. Aryans. I don't know. How do you all say it in America? Aryans?
Deal is the top priority for them, because just like I explained in the past video, the real investigation is to the organization that was behind this, that is controlling the drug trade in Moscow, Idaho.
No, it's season 1.
Now, the final piece to this puzzle is right out there in the open for everybody to see. How this all started with the girl's parents specifically planning to turn evidence on their organization. How did the organization know this? Both of the both of the mothers' attorneys were the same woman. That woman has all the information necessary to be able to pass it along to the organization. I'm going to say...
Next time I do a Solemn Wednesday, do you guys think I should get like a toque and some sunglasses maybe?
More than likely, she is employed by the organization. Now, she's also employed by the Public Defender's Office. She's an attorney. Public Defender's Office appoints her. But she has another line of income, I assure you. And her allegiances are to that organization. And how do we know that for a certain? Or, again, I'm not trying to slander anybody, but how can we infer that for certain? Well, the same attorney for those two women also happens to be the attorney assigned to Brian Kohberger. Now, this Moscow, Idaho case is the highest profile case in America right now. There's millions of eyes on it.
Gotcha.
Brian Kohberger, who is facing 4 capital murder charges, which means that's the death penalty 4 times. They literally have to kill him 4 times, is being defended by a public defender in Moscow, Idaho. Now, there are defense attorneys all over the United States, and I'm sure plenty in Idaho.
Okay, B, since you seem to be the most familiar with this case, what's your, quick capsule summary of it? Do you think that Brian Kohberger is guilty, or is this all a setup? Because I heard from a reliable source that there was more to this case than meets the eye, and that's kind of what we're trying to figure out here.
That would love to make a name for themselves by defending Brian Kohberger. I can assure you that they are calling him left and right, and I mean really, really good attorneys.
B is saying not guilty. Not guilty. Do you have a theory for who did do it?
Because to defend him and win the case would make a name for them. For instance, y'all probably know who the Kardashians' father is, right? He was a defense attorney, a very popular one, but nowhere near as popular as he became after he defended O.J. Simpson. He was so popular that his children are the most known people in America now, maybe the world. And that all started with him defending O.J. Simpson. So if you think for a second that these high-profile defense attorneys wouldn't pro bono, absorb all the cost involved and take the case for Mr. Brian Kohberger in this matter, just on the even a small glimpse of a chance that they could find him innocent in front of the millions of eyes that'll be on this case to make them famous, they would do it in a heartbeat. And you know this.
Apparently Nicole Simpson Brown is unironically involved in this. That's what I'm getting. Dylan's boyfriend was there. His uncle is a shot caller in the Ariane Knight prison gang. Okay. Because, yeah, I heard from my source that there's some, frat boys involved who conveniently fled to, Africa. That's what I've been hearing. I haven't come across that information in these videos yet, but I think we will.
He isn't accepting any of the offers from these attorneys. What kind of sense does that make? He's keeping the public defender, the same one, again, that defended both of the young ladies in the possession with intent to deliver cases.
Yeah, we haven't hit the Freemasons yet.
The reason he is keeping that public defender is because he knows who that public defender is. And he knows who her allegiance is to. And he knows that if he was to take another attorney in this matter, that they would not come and kill him. What's the point of that? That wouldn't scare him. He's facing 4 capital murder death penalty charges. No, he knows that what happened to those women's daughters that we're going to talk would certainly happen to his loved ones. His family would be eliminated the second that he either moved for another attorney or the second that he started to open his mouth on this case and fill in some of the blanks for the law enforcement. That's why when Mr. Kohberger goes in to the courtroom, he doesn't say a word. Believe me, he has been warned. Do not say a word.
Don't believe Dylan was involved. Sorry, who is Dylan? Was that one of the? I don't know who Dylan is. Do I have my notification butt plug in? No. Am I got a notification somewhere? Dylan Mulvaney.
The evidence to that is when the judge asked, how do you plead guilty or not guilty? What was his answer? He wouldn't open his mouth to even say guilty or not guilty. Wouldn't let his lawyer do it either. The judge had to plead not guilty for him. Everybody was perplexed with that one. There is no
roommates. Dylan Mortensen. Okay. This case really seems to have a lot of levels to it. A lot of levels and connections.
Potential benefit to not pleading not guilty in your case. Nobody could understand why would he do that? Well, that's real simple. He's been told not to open his mouth, and
yeah, Chrome Knight. Chrome Knight is a good status. Maybe, maybe we can slot that in between Mega Guy and the Saudi poop sheik tier.
The consequences that come with opening his mouth, and he won't even open it to say not guilty. So, with that being said, the way this thing's going to pan out, he's not going to open his mouth. Law enforcement will manufacture enough evidence for a jury to convict. They will convict him. They will put him on death row. In 10 years, they may even execute him. He will never open his mouth because his loved ones, again, would be eliminated, and he knows that. And he was the professional. He wasn't supposed to get caught, but he made a couple of minor errors. Number one, driving his own vehicle to the scene of the atrocity. And the police, the law enforcement, everybody involved is going to put this thing to bed the second that they say guilty. And then law enforcement can continue working on their private investigation into that organization. That organization can continue to do business. And everybody involved would be better off just putting it behind them. But for those of you that have come up with a lot of scenarios, they think that Mr. Kohberger is innocent. I can assure you he's not. His motives behind it were completely different than what everybody is thinking. And the reason that those two young ladies, plus...
I'm sitting in voice chat on Discord. Anyone who pays $5 can come in and red pill us all on the situation.
Their friend and their boyfriend are no longer with us is simply because their mothers were involved in the drug trade, were arrested, didn't face up to the consequences and take their convictions. They decided to work with law enforcement.
Yeah, I would love just a nice overview of the situation. That would be great. I feel like a lot of these videos are kind of assuming a certain degree of foreknowledge of the situation. There's footage from the apartments next to the murder scene. If you listen at 2:30 a.m., it sounds like Ethan screaming Xana. Then you hear someone say, "Make them pay." Okay, I have some... Where was that? Okay, no, this is... Oh, I actually have a whole playlist of CCTV footage here. So yeah, this is 12:27. Sorry, so I'm looking for about 2:27 a.m. 2 a.m. 2 to 3 a.m. Okay. I can kind of hear something. Maybe. Yeah, it sounds like someone was screaming in the background there. hear something that like might be screaming there. I kind of have my speakers a little low so they don't nuke back in through my mic. Hello, Duckman. Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. We got another Not Guilty. Welcome, hey Tony. Welcome back to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. But I'm hearing not guilty in chat. What other vids do we got here? Bubbly waters. So far our theories seem to be Brian Kohberger did it, or there was something to do with the Aryan Knights. What's up, Forbidden Gains? Welcome to Solemn Wednesday, the Thinking Man's Solemn Stream. Thinking Man's True Crime Stream. Yeah, we're just busting into the Idaho murders here. So far, we've learned some things. Definitely. Let's see what else Jay Embry has to say.
Hello.
I would love a TLDR. I gotta say, it's a little tough cracking into like hundreds of videos and trying to figure out what the hell is going on here.
And welcome to The Revealing. I'm your host, Pavarotti. And I'm on here to explain exactly what happened in the Idaho 4 case. I've watched a lot of the home detectives put out their content, put out some good content. They have a lot of perspectives. They have...
Yeah, I'm sort of getting the hint that this case has exceptionally deep Onion-style lore that I feel like we're only tapping on the crust of. It seems like people in the know who have spent more time digging here seem to think that Brian Kohberger is a patsy who has been set up. Coming at it with fresh eyes here, it's somewhat overwhelming to the uninitiated to crack in what the hell's going on. Type in Idaho 4 4chan post. Okay. Is this the one? Is this the right post? Kaylee, sorry, is this the right one, or am I going to be reading off horrible slander here? Fortune points to the frat okay, sorry, I'm going to catch up on chat here. I followed the case from the start, went from guilty to not guilty. I'm convinced he is just a convenient suspect. Okay. Right after the event happened, but before Kohberger was announced, an anon claimed to be a frat bro and let out details that weren't available to the public yet. Okay. Sorry, is this the 4chan post we're after? Name calling the victims, talking shit about them. Okay, I think this might be the one. Okay, let's see what we got here. So this is made on Wednesday, the 28th of December, 2022. When were the Idaho 4 murders? When did they take place? November 2022. Okay, so this is pretty close. I think BK traded the knife to Emma Bailey for drugs. Her boyfriend Demetrius was in on it. Okay. I don't know who any of those people are. I don't have all the names in my head yet at this point. But let's check out this 4chan post. Apparently this is important. This is made like a month and a bit after the murder. So this would be, I think, before a lot of things became public. I gotta take off my scarf here. Okay, let's see. What does this one say? I don't know if this is the right one. According to Reddit, this seemed like this might be the right 4chan post. Let's see. Kaylee was well on her way to becoming a fat pig like her mother and sister. Look at one of the last pictures on her Instagram. She's wearing a dress, and you can see tons of cellulite on her knees and thighs. Only redeeming quality was her big tits and the fact she was a fat alcoholic who most likely had body issues and would be easy to fuck. Okay. It's a little rude. Demetrius. Okay, so we got Demetrius. This ain't the one. Okay. Because according to Reddit here, this is a 4chan post relating to the Idaho murders that was talking shit about them, but it contained information about the crime scene and mentioned there were terrible things written about the victims on the wall of the scene. Is that true? I haven't heard anything about that thus far. Okay, let's keep reading here. Maddie was a disgusting alcoholic Down syndrome baby with a smart mouth who thought she was slicker than she actually was. If she was actually pretty like the news people keep trying to portray, then she could have surely gotten better dick than that balding faggot she was dating. She was broke as fuck too. You could see those bum-ass pink cowboy boots she had display proudly in her window. Totally white trashy and cheap bitch who had a smile like a retard and also had the same quality Kaylee had, an easy fuck. Okay. Emma Bailey was trapping out the house. She is seen in body cam footage of a noise complaint at the house. So sorry, is Emma Bailey another roommate? How many roommates are we talking about here? And yeah, Gaines, if you find that the correct 4chan post, drop it in the Sonic channel on Discord. This one just seems to be talking shit. I don't quite see what the... She lives a couple houses away. Emma and Demetrius were arrested for selling coke to a student who overdosed and died. Oh, okay. She lives a couple houses away. So what is her connection to it all then? Let's keep reading this one of them talking shit. Xana is a white trash junkie baby named after anti-anxiety medication. Comes from a shitty broken home with junkie parents. Was on her way to becoming an alcoholic just like her punk boyfriend. Yet she seems to have the problem of running her 4 out of 10 mouth to people. You all seen the new video of her drunk? Imagine that bitch mouthing off to you. Wouldn't you want to punch her in her drunk mouth? She was also broke and wore the same pair of cheap-ass Converse shoes in multiple pictures. Seemed to always have cash to go to bars, though. Okay. 6 people in the house. 4 were murdered. 1 was just a boyfriend staying the night. Oh, Emma was selling drugs out of the house. Junkie parents is a theme with the victims. Okay. I feel like now that we have a couple people in the chat who kind of know what was going on, we're getting more information than we were able to glean from watching random videos. So junkie parents. So they all have junkie parents. Drugs are being sold out of the house. So wait, do we think it's a drug murder? Emma was the DoorDash driver. Shit just keeps getting deeper. Okay, Ethan. He was a fucking faggot chump who couldn't even protect his own girlfriend, who was also his mouthpiece. In fact, I think the women in his life have always spoken for him. Did you see the way his ugly, wrinkled face, beady-eyed mom tried to get sympathy for their ugly-ass family? Shine Ethan's bright light? What a crock of shit. He had no muscle tone and looked drastically different from the picture we have shown of him. Almost similar to when a good boy, boop, dies and we see pictures of him when he's 12. Ethan was a smart-mouthed alcoholic with a pedo mustache that he grew so he'd look older. Okay. Okay. What's Reddit have to say on the situation? I remember that, and remember the poster saying that Kaylee's insides were hung from a ceiling fan. Sounds like somebody watched way too many horror movies and decided to be sick and disgusting about IRL victims. Okay. Because this one here, oh, maybe this is where, oh no, that's the same. Oh, what the... Okay, I didn't realize this scrolled so much. What's the top post here? Okay, well here's Idaho sliced roast beef general. That's a little disrespectful. Okay, what do we got here? Xana's mom was arrested for trafficking meth. She made a plea deal and the charges went away. Same with Maddie's parents. Okay. Oh, you got the link? I don't know if I can see links from YouTube chat. You might have to drop that ish in the Sonic channel on Discord. Coom folder. These guys are running a Coom folder on this. Come on, guys. Okay, because this is from. Okay, same date. Okay. Local suspects: frat bros, Ducock, Adam, Showtime Jack, Nate, David and Nan, Dylan and Beth, nurses and Knuckles voted against, Branch Mortenson's, Hunter Johnson. Okay. Dropping this. Yeah, okay, let's see what we got here. Okay, so these ones. All right, what do we got here? What do we got here? Okay, so this would be about a month after the murders. David Loach and Ethan got into a fight the night of the murders. Okay. Let's check out this. This has been locked. It's Ethan's family member is shutting down. Oh boy, I really do need the corkboard to keep track of this. There is so much lore to this case. David Loach and Ethan got into a fight. They were frat brothers, and Ethan is the boyfriend who got killed, right? He was, I believe, the F word from the previous 4chan thing we were looking at. Okay, actually, we'll revisit this in a sec. I'm going to check out these ones first. Okay, so this is from 4chan. About a month after. Okay. Schizo frat cunts. D did this. L, mad skills with lacrosse and knife and wrestling. E posed no challenge. They already gave their alibis. DNA not in Cody's. They laughing now. So are D and L are the they're the frat boys who are mysteriously in Africa now? Am I getting that correct? L is David Loach. Oh, two Davids. Oh, okay, because they're mentioned here. We got the two Davids who were of the frat bro clique. David Loach fled to Georgia. One is in Africa. One is in Boise. Okay. And then these are the posts. Okay, let's get through these ones. These ones seem interesting because this is some R-word fella seems to be spilling a little too much tea on 4chan here. Bruh, you can see the King Road house from David's SX room. Once that third floor light turned off, they did it. 19 minutes total, walk included. Talked about this shit at Bishop Kelly and SX. L and E, okay, that's one of the Davids, and Ethan got in a fight that night. X, Xana, allegedly talking shit. L had probs with Mads also. This shit been brewing since Fall Rush last year. Cunts went quiet on SM for 2 weeks before and after the deed. B's mom is a paralegal, so he knows not to say shit. L cleared his SM. Okay. Kaylee's boyfriend, Jack S., supposedly went to Africa after. You can see the kids leaving on a police body cam that night from the band field across the street. Oh, social media, thank you. Yeah, B-Grass also appears to be pretty red-pilled on this whole situation. Yeah, if you want B, I don't know if you would want to. I can send you a link to the Discord, and you could hop on chat. Because I would love like a TLDR on this whole situation. It's a big lore dump to get all at once, you know. And having somebody who's a little more knowledgeable drop some knowledge would be appreciated. But I also appreciate all the Reved pills coming through on chat here. Can also see DM's black truck is also seen on that body cam. Okay, let's try and find the. Okay, I'm gonna do the 4chan posts. I'm gonna read through this. Then I'll look up the body cam. Okay. Had to take a shit. SX. Sorry, what is SX? SX22 saw Ethan, Xana, and with one of the Davids, I think that's the other David, at the party. L and E have issues back to E rushing. E talked shit about L taking roids and having his balls shrivel. L pissed as he wanted X. For dumbass youngins like E, tutors are assigned. B blew it with E. E, a second-year fresher. B, also self-conscious about his spick blood and talks empty shit. B and L talked about this shit in general for a while. Talked about leaving their cell phones behind and on YouTube, autoplay, no pings, no guns, too loud, area dead early Sunday mornings. Okay. Allegedly. Yes, allegedly. Oh, what's up, Jordan Belter? Welcome to Solemn Wednesdays, the Thinking Man's true crime stream. Him vacationing in Africa with his fam has no correlation to him being even remotely involved in the murders. Okay. And yeah, how is Koberger involved? That I don't know. I don't know. Her boyfriend's black truck, it also leaves the Linda Lane apartments at the same time. BK's allegedly left the scene around 4:20 a.m. Man, there's a lot of people involved in this case. Okay. B even calls out shit media saying titties was target. That shit is false. Titties bad luck. Targets were E, X, and Mads. Mads talked shit about L, never acknowledged B. Mads right about that one. He is the cunt. L should have also taken out B. Okay, so if it was the Davids who did this, what's the rationale for them framing up Kohberger? Like, are they super connected or something? Vacation, yeah, basically some of these people, man. Okay, your boyfriend's black truck. Yeah, Gaines, I've noticed just kind of browsing some of these channels that there's like all these channels that each individually have like literally hundreds of hours on this, and I'm like, oh God, I don't know who these people are. WKF, Dirty South, L and E hated each other. Okay. Kohberger still has no connection to the victims 3 years later. Because, like, my understanding with him, at least for, like, somebody like me who only has, like, super cursory knowledge, that the story with him is he was some, like, criminology guy who wanted to do, like, the ultimate murder for just kind of because he's, like, a sicko Joker type motherfucker. Did my camera just go all fucking fuzzy for y'all? Okay, sorry. I believe BK had been buying meth from... Sorry, who is... Oh, wait. BK is Kohberger. Okay. I think BK traded the knife to Emma. It was then planted, trying to use him as a scapegoat. I believe BK had been buying meth from Emma since the pool party mentioned in the Dateline episode. He went to WSU and lived the next town over. So yeah, Kohberger is just a convenient joker on the scene, or a joker in the next town over, Brian Joe Kohberger. But the motive for the two Davids would appear to be a feud with Ethan, although this is a pretty drastic escalation of a sort of, dumbass, like, frat boy feud, I would think. He got pissy because he's always been an awkward outcast and sought out women on social media he could never get and got mad and sought revenge. Simple as that. David Loach had a thing for Xana, and it caused a rift between him and Xana. Okay. We're getting kind of dueling narratives in the chat here that Brian Kohberger was just an evil incel chud supreme gentleman. Yes, a supreme gentleman joker motherfucker. Or the two roided out frat bros killed them over some sort of beef. And sorry, where does meth dealing Emma come into all of this? Yeah, Kohberger does kind of sound like a Sonic man, true. Wait, and Brian wasn't even an incel, he had an Asian girlfriend. You know who else had an Asian girlfriend, though? That guy who did the Las Vegas shooting. Yeah, so, Okay, sorry. B got a bid because our house GPA sucked and the NC was on our asses. B's schizo. Dirty South and E could not be more opposite. Mads did talk shit. Dirty also pissed she with Rogaine J. Okay. A lot of this is sort of in Zoomer speak that I'm really struggling to decipher here. The Asian girlfriend is a big revelation. She was trapping out the house. But was Emma Do we think that Emma was like related to the to the fact that they got killed, or just like that? Was the fact that there were drugs being sold out of the house, did that have anything to do with the murders, or was that more of just a sort of coincidence? Like, was she linked to the Davids? My understanding, Myron, is that the David's motive had to do with Ethan talking shit on them for doing steroids. I have to say, just from this 4chan post here, I know that we're talking about maybe it's just Zoomers, but this seems very Shadow the Hedgehog coded to me. This kind of fight spiraling into this scenario. I think Emma and the surviving roommates knew it was going to happen and made sure everyone was home. Her boyfriend, Demetrius, was possibly one of the murderers. Rumors that Maddie flushed a bunch of drug, possibly Demetrius's drugs. Interesting. If we have any women watching, I would really think twice about dating a guy named Demetrius. Okay, had to charge, no plug. Mads also target. Titties not a target at all. Bad luck, well-known fact. Okay. Some of these theories are way too deep. Well, this is True Detective Season 1 shit, man. High probability some brothers are aware. Rogaine has ample opportunities and will play grieving boyfriend. B actually talked about this shit in detail in the past. We are electrician's gloves. Wear electrician's gloves, put on baggy clothes after, and walk away. By the way, B's dad works for a professional cleaning company. That shit was disposed of in Garden City over the Thanksgiving holiday. Okay. So this person at least appears to kind of know the players. Demetrius has violent charging, including the death of U of I student who OD'd on drugs. Demetrius and Emma sold him in Seattle. Oh, sorry. So Demetrius was possibly one of the murderers. Is that like a competing claim with the Davids, or where is this one? This one has a big list of suspects. Okay, so victims: Xana, Kaylee, Maddie, Ethan. Okay, suspects: Jack D, David, and Adam L. Okay, sorry. Who are Jack D and Adam L? I looked into that verdict as true. The Garden City waste facility. I work like a mile from it. Okay. So for the knowledgeable in chat here. So I'm thinking people who seem to have done some research on this. So like Forbidden Gains, B-Grass. Well, we know Jordan Belter. Jordan Belter is team Jokerfied. Richard Hanania is the one who did it. Okay. For B and Gaines, who do you think did it? Because I feel like we have a couple. We've got the Davids as a possibility. I'm hearing Demetrius in chat. Okay, Jack was Kaylee's boyfriend. Okay, so like these are all totally separate claims then, hey? And Adam was Jack's roommate. So like how many theories do we have on this? Because it seems like there's like multiple competing theories, right? That aren't necessarily linked to one another. All four victims. I think so, Myron, that all four were killed by stabbings. Although there was somewhere, where was it? I think it might have been one of the 4chan posts or something, or maybe in chat, was saying that like the bodies were like really like ripped apart. I forget where was that. And I had not really heard that, though, as I said before, I haven't looked into it too much. I think the David's most likely, the Emma and Demetrius second most likely. The third theory is cartel related. Well, that's new. A guy named Farley was the lookout. I got back and forth between the Ariane Knight payback angle and Demetrius. Okay, I gotta open the cork board here. Okay. Okay, so. Can I move this? No. Okay, fine. This cork board shit actually sucks. It looks cool because it's a cork board, but this program is not great. So we have suspects. So we have Joker Burger. Man, I can't be using this program. Okay. Joker Burger, the Davids, the Ariane Knights, and then sorry, we have Jack. I haven't even heard shit about Jack so far. Jack and Adam? I have no idea what that is. Then we have the cartel. Is Koberger innocent because we are Team Chud Incel? He wasn't even Incel, bro. He had an Asian GF. Ethan's leg was cut first to incapacitate him. Xana got chased by BK, whether it was upstairs on the stairs or in the living room as he was exiting. She had less than a second to react. Having an Asian girlfriend is not a disqualifier for being incel. Yeah, I mean, is it just that they picked the most Joker-fied guy in the area? But what I wonder... Yeah, I know, Tony. I'm sorry, man. This is Solemn Wednesday. We'll get back to Sonic Wednesday as soon as possible. But okay, what I don't understand though is like am I missing any of the main suspects? Oh, Emma and Demetrius. I think Jordan is the Solemn Wednesday version of the guys who come in for the Sonic butt pics. I think that's my take on this. He saw him in his living room. I need a hug. Just like an outside person with interest on the topic. Yes. So, but like. Do any of the assuming it's not Jokerberg, do any of these people have like the degree of connections that would warrant like them throwing the case on a random Joker Chud Incel guy? That's what I wonder, cuz like it seems to me like if they were killed by some random like drug dealers selling, tainted coke to college kids or whatever, or like one of the boyfriends or some random frat bros, or Ariane Knights and Cartel. I don't really know what either of those would be. But like, if any of those people did it, why would they go through so much effort to pin it on some random Joker Chud guy? Is what I wonder. God damn, there's a lot of moving parts here. Was that the whole thing? Oh wait, there's more on this one. Okay. Okay. Okay, that's kind of tough to read. A little smudged out. Bruh, you can. Oh wait, we read that already. Oh, this is a reply. I think this is the same guy though. Bro, you can see the murder house from David's Sigma Chow room. Once that third floor light turned, they did it. 19 minutes total walk. Oh, that's 19 minutes total, walk included. They talked about this shit at high school and Sigma Chow, and Ethan got into a fight that night. X was allegedly talking shit, had problems with something as well. This shit has been brewing since Fall Rush last year. The two of them went quiet on social media for 2 weeks before and after the murder. David's mom is a paralegal, so he knows how to avoid incriminating himself. Deleted his social media completely. Okay. All while driving his own car to the scene. This does not scream fentanyl at all. Who is Dylan? Have we met Dylan before? Dylan's boyfriend's uncle was a shot caller for the Aryans that supposedly got locked up because of the parents who cooperated with the task force that locked up the Aryans. Okay. But I mean, like, is the FBI and the police really going to go that far out of their way for, like, the Aryan Knights, like, prison group? Are they that connected? Do we have a secretly Aryan-occupied government down there in the States? Kinda sinister looking here. And this is one of the Davids, I take it. Dylan Mortensen. Oh, right. Sorry. Surviving roommate. I think he said that. Like one of those top-down animated war battle videos. Look up the Night Cowboys. I looked it up, but I'm just getting a dance venue in Calgary, Alberta. I might. Yes, the police always arrest the lower-level dealers and get them to flip on the higher-ups. But okay, and then also, like if Idaho 4 Night Cowboys. Okay. Okay, AI overview. The Idaho 4 Night Cowboys most likely refers to the 4 University of Idaho students who were murdered. Well, that can't be it. Night Cowboys at Rand. Terrible night on King Street. So sorry, are the Night Cowboys like just the people who got murdered? Oh wait, this is the AI overview. Because it doesn't have anything about cowboys. The police threaten them with long prison terms and then offer them a lighter sentence if they can rat on the higher ups. But okay, like Buddy before, who was that? Jay Embry. He was saying that Brian Kohberger just like kept his mouth shut at his like sentencing trial, and like if he didn't do it, wouldn't he? I don't know. I do not know, because I don't get why they would. I mean, I know they want to like get their man, you know. Oh, team of men with cowboy hats. Let's check this out. Okay, team of men with cowboy hats. At one point, there was a small team of men, some wearing cowboy hats, who were very deliberate about not having their faces photographed while leaving the scene. I'm trying to find articles so I can post a pic. Does anyone recall which agency they were with? Tia, here's the photo. Oh, okay. And sorry, this is... This is like after the Oh yeah, there's police tape there. So this is like after the 911 call. We have well, no, Jordan, the buddy was saying that he didn't even enter a plea. that like the judge had to declare not guilty on his behalf, which like, I'm for those of you who have like spent a lot of time researching this, I hope y'all can kind of bear with me here. There is a whole lot of information and names to parse through. With this case. So yeah, we had these guys. I believe FBI. They got in a van or bourbon, but they're supposedly looking for some type of evidence, a certain thing or item, if I'm not mistaken. BK stood silent. It's a tactical move. Okay. Because Jay Embry was insinuating that was because he... Well, I'm not really sure what he was insinuating. I think he was seemed to be insinuating that he'd get like Illuminati murdered if he was to say anything about it. Where was that other Fratanon post? Because this one seemed kind of interesting. Kaylee was on. Yeah, that guy. It's a totally valid take on this. I'm going to find the body cam footage. Let's check out the body cam footage. Oh, we got Brian Koberger, the Joker Burger himself, getting pulled over. This could be interesting. Okay, the only thing I know is there seem to be multiple different parties interested in these kids being taken out and strong evidence pointing everywhere but BK. Have you seen Gonclave's dad? They would never agree to make a plea deal. Hey, what's up, Miek? Welcome back to Solemn Wednesdays, the Thinking Man's true crime stream. Dude will take BK out himself if they don't give him life. Okay, well... I gotta bounce. It's been fun. If you do another live about this, I'd be down to help out. Yeah, B-Grass. I'm at X Chromeboys X on Instagram or Twitter. If you, I would be in. I think I will have to do another Solemn Wednesday. Though probably not on a Wednesday. We'll see. But yeah, I would be interested to get some info from you. I can pop you into the Discord if that's something you'd be interested in, or I don't know, just hit me up on X Chromeboys X on Instagram or Twitter or Chromeboys with a K at gmail.com. I have a feeling we're not going to crack the case tonight, but I would like to do some more research and then come back to it with myself having a bit more information coming in. I think that would be helpful because I really came into this totally blind, and there's a lot. So yeah, X Chromeboys X on Twitter or Instagram, Chromeboys with a K at gmail.com for email. I think Steve Goncalves knows it ain't BK. Okay, let's check out this body cam footage. I kind of want to see Joker Burger in action.
Hello, I am Officer Loangus. Stops being audio and video recorded. I think you know why I stopped you. You ran the red light.
What? How many times did this motherfucker get pulled over? That's like 3 already.
What actually happened was I was stuck in the middle of the intersection.
Yeah,
so
I was behind you the whole time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So technically you're not supposed to enter the intersection at all for that reason, because if the light turns red, then you're stuck in the intersection, and then you run the red light. So that's the reason I stopped you. Do you have your license on you?
Yep.
Do you have the registration and insurance?
Yes. Let me just get this for you out.
You what?
I'm just gonna get this out for you.
Okay.
So would you explain that to me a little bit further? So in Pennsylvania, when you're stuck like in the intersection, you have to make the left. So what would the appropriate thing for me to have done been? Just
You're not supposed to block an intersection like that in Washington, so just on a Hyundai. I don't see Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Was a scream caught on police body cam video the night the University of Idaho.
I am Team Koberger. More than my lifetime when I'm 34. He got pulled over twice in one day. I think it was actually 3. Clearly this guy is just a cartoon character of walking bad luck. Dude is just autistic, but not the Dexter kind.
Students were murdered. Hear anything? Is it a scream? Is it a screech of tires or something else? The timestamp on the body cam video reads 3:12 a.m., around the time of the murders.
Listen really closely. Tell me if you hear anything.
On court TV, these former prosecutors listened to the body cam video. Only anchor Vinnie Politan could hear a scream.
Okay, it's faint. It would be, though.
I didn't hear a scream. Not anything in...
Okay, here's Xana Kernodle talking to police weeks before killings. Okay. He definitely the kind of guy to the wrong place, wrong time, and gets swept up into a murder charge. I could kind of see that. Like, he does have a somewhat, Richard Hanania style vibe, Why was she talking to police weeks before? I guess because they live in a fucking drug den.
This morning, new video surfacing of one of the Idaho murder victims as police track down new leads in the killings.
Hello, miss. What's your name?
Xana. The video, first obtained by the website Truth and Transparency, showing Xana Kernodle opening the door of the King Street home as officers approach.
We can hear you from clear down the road when we were coming up here. We can hear the music, and that's...
I'm so sorry.
The video from officer-worn body cameras over Labor Day weekend at nearly 1 in the morning. Officers saying it's the second time they've been to the residence that night.
Any outside music, any loud yelling needs to be done.
Okay.
Okay, so that's just a noise complaint. Yeah. So sorry, before what body cam footage are we looking up for? Earlier body cam footage was referenced. Wait, is it this one? This one has like circles over blurry footage. That seems pretty sus. Yeah. I mean the music, loud music itself is not nothing too crazy there. Although if it was a trap house,
almost as though they're walking in single file out at night at 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, closer to 3.
Wait. This seems important though, because like this is right around when the murder came. So who are these 4 people walking?
2, 3, 4. Almost as though they're walking in single file out at night at 3 o'clock in the morning. Actually, closer to 3:12 in the morning. And as you watch those 4 figures, remember, police say the murders happened between 3 and 4 in the morning. Did those people see something? Who are they? have police track them down, ask them any questions, ruled them out. And again, if they're ruled out, did they see something as they were on foot, walking just steps away from where the murders happened? We do not have the answers to this, any of it.
Okay, well, this body cam footage here is somewhat puzzling, because, like, who the fuck are these guys? The body cam footage of the 3-4 dudes leaving the house in the area caught in the background of a cop talking to kids in the field. Okay. I wonder if that would be this 3 or 4
Out
dudes.
at night? At 3 o'clock in the morning?
Because that's somewhat sus. Is that this one?
We turn now to the mystery surrounding the murder of 4 college students in Idaho. Police have released video that they hope will provide new leads in the case. ABC's Ike Ajachi has more.
For the first time, detectives in Idaho are releasing body camera footage, hoping it can provide new leads in the case of those 4 murdered college students.
Moscow 77.
The videos show officers on patrol in Moscow, Idaho, in the early morning hours of November 13th, around the time investigators believe Zainer Kernodle, Ethan Chapin, Madison Mogan, and Kaylee Gonsalves were killed in a home near the University of Idaho.
Taking out 21. Yeah.
In one video, officers are seen issuing citations to 3 teens for underage drinking. An apartment complex across the street from the victim's home is visible, just steps away from the officers. Investigators say the people in the videos have been cleared, and the incidents have nothing to do with the murders. But they released the video, hoping someone familiar with the area...
So is this the one that has, like, people in the background, or is it just these kids getting written up?
...is able to spot something, anything out of place.
It can be used from a historic standpoint. That information could potentially become relevant later in the investigation because you just never know.
It comes as detectives announce they need help locating a white 2011 to 2013 Hyundai Elantra, like this one spotted near the murder scene. Investigators believe the driver or any possible passenger.
Jay Embry or someone has zoomed it. Oh, okay. Jay Embry has a lot of videos. Good thumbnails, though. Man, this guy's been busy. Yeah. You're right, man. I am not gonna find it. All right, guys. Is there any important information that we should suss up tonight before we call it for episode 1 of True Detective Season 1, Idaho Murders 4, Solemn Wednesday? Because I feel like I need to do some off-stream research to try and be able to present the case a little more coherently, because coming at it fresh, it's somewhat overwhelming. And I can see why, there's all this shit going on, and you're just like, I feel like this Joker motherfucker might have done it. Brent Kopacka. Can I point out you're not being the Foyd content? This is Moid content, okay? This is season 1, not 4. The revealing proof that Kopacka was involved in Moscow murders. Okay, so who's Brent Kopacka? This hasn't even been mentioned before. Yeah, it's Sonic. Okay, Brent Kopacka. This is the tip of... Yeah, I know, man. We're on the very tippy top of the iceberg here. But sorry, has Brent Kopacka even been mentioned before? The iceberger. Also named BK.
Here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. Now, as a disclaimer, this channel is for entertainment purposes. This is these opinions, they're mine. Okay, and slandering people.
Okay, sorry. Is there a... Why doesn't we talk? I'm gonna watch one of these. One of these shorter ones. Yeah, I feel like this one does go. There's just a lot of names.
Hey everyone, how are you doing today?
A lot
Good to
of
see you. Thank you so
possibilities.
much for stopping by. Much appreciated as always. If you're new to the channel, please hit that like and subscribe button as it helps to grow the channel.
We want a Jay Embry one. It's just that his is like 20 minutes long. Okay, fine. We'll do.
Here to discuss the Idaho 4 case. Now, as a disclaimer, this channel is for entertainment purposes. This is these opinions, they're mine. Okay, and slandering people is not what I'm here to do. Okay, I do speculate a little, but I also like to back up speculation with facts. And I will in this one as well. So let's just get started.
Actually, yeah, I know I've talked shit about people 2xing before, but yeah, we're gonna watch this in 1.5.
Now, you know, folks, when I put out, you can.
Kopaka was killed by SWAT in Pullman, Washington in December 2022. Lived right by Koberger in Washington, but also from the same town in Pennsylvania that Joker Burger is from. Why was he killed by SWAT?
Specifically look for my videos. When it says timeline, you know I'm about to get serious with the facts. See, my timelines, they paint the picture themselves. I don't have to do I don't have to talk a lot around the dates of events. Okay, kind of, it tells a story all in itself. But sometimes I do need to dig in deeper. Sometimes people want to question facts in my timeline. And I'll give you a quick deep dive on this one, on how I get those facts. But along with that deep dive, I'm going to blow your mind. And it's not hard. It's not hard. I'm not saying it's not hard to blow your mind. That's hard. That's difficult. It's not hard for me to put this thing together. And in fact, it's becoming so easy for me to put this thing together. I'm really questioning why nobody else has put this thing together. It really got me scratching my head a little bit. Here recently, we've been talking about Kopaka. Now, I've alluded to Mr. Kopaka being involved in this thing. And I don't have him specifically in the timeline except for his search warrant on the 14th and his unaliving on the early morning hours of the 15th. Okay, and a lot of people don't like for you to get into Kopaka. Well, I can tell you in this video why they don't want you to really deep dive Kopaka, because
Yeah, true. The more you dive in, the less things make sense. And I see why there it's just like, can we just blame the weird Joker Hanania guy?
You start applying some investigative work to Kopaka and the Koberger case. It's so simple. It's almost easy. Okay, so how do you know that, Pavarotti? How do you do this stuff, Pavarotti? Are you being real with us, Pavarotti? Yeah, I'm being real with you. I'm telling you facts. I'm painting a picture of a story that happened. This happened, y'all. You want to see some receipts? Okay, I'll give you some receipts. Sit back and let me receipt away. Okay, so here we go with some redacted warrants. And we're going to start with this one, because this is a steady progression. And when I'm done with these, whoa. But you'll see this one here, state of Idaho, Indiana, state of Idaho, in and for the county of Latah. And you'll see the case number there doesn't show a case number. It's redacted. Okay, so they've redacted a little bit, but you know, it's weird. I think the first time I looked at this, there was more redactions. I think they've unredacted some things, but I don't know. Let's go through this and look though. And you'll see this is Detective Mowry. All right, so we all know Detective Mowry now from the hearing held a few weeks back. And Detective Mowry must have been very involved in this case, because you'll see here, this was the 26th day of November, 2022, and he is filing a search warrant with Amazon. Okay, so this is the day that he files the warrant. And you can see...
Wait, he filed the search warrant with Amazon? Is that how that works? Do y'all Americans, your Amazon issue search warrants?
Down here, where it gets to description of property, what he's looking for from Amazon. So when you file a search warrant, you have to specify what it is that you're wanting them to go through and look for. So he's specifically looking for an ASIN with a serial number, a K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife, an ASIN with another number, and a K-bar 1217S.
Yeah, I'll be more up to speed next Sonic Wednesday, which probably won't be next Wednesday.
Okay, this is page 2.
Probably be some other day next week.
And let's go ahead and we'll read this here. It says,
any peace officer authorized to enforce or assist in enforcing any law of the state of Idaho. Lawrence Mowry, having given me proof upon oath this day showing probable cause, establishing grounds for issuing a search warrant, and probable cause to believe that the property referred to and sought in or upon said premises consists of information for the crime of homicide in the possession or control of Amazon related to the sales of the following items for the period of January 1st, 2022. Look, they got 20222, just like I did in my timeline the other day. Weird. But you can see he's listing out what it is that he's looking for. Once again, this is just a continuation.
Because, okay, actually, this is a good question. Because we have all the other names floating around, right? But, like, what actually is the evidence that Bryan Kohberger did it? Like, is there any, DNA? Or, like, what is actually the evidence for Kohberger? So I get that he's kind of a weird vibe guy. But, like, what is actually the evidence that supports him doing it? Like, is there forensics or... Huh. Yeah,
To the 26th warrant, and he's looking for down here this ASIN serial number K-bar full-size U.S. Marine Corps fighting knife. Okay, so he's looking for a specific fighting knife with a specific number.
BK's Mr. Magoo ass getting pulled over by the cops every other day ass got caught holding the gun. But was he even holding the gun? Like, do they have a like a murder weapon, or it's just that his car looks similar, or like what
number is.
What do they got on the guy?
And then you can see he's looking for that specific sheath for that knife, which is interesting because there's a sheath left at the crime scene, but they're looking hard for a knife and a sheath. So I don't know what to make of that. Okay, and then you'll see this is page 3 where Judge Megan Marshall signs the warrant. So you can see she signed this warrant on the 26th day of November 2022 at 1:30 p.m. So that's the initial warrant for Amazon. Now here's where things start to get interesting. And you can see here, this is a list of events. Okay, so you can see it says at the top here, follow along, I, Detective Lawrence Mowry, being duly...
I'm sorry, November 26th, this is like 2 weeks after the murder, right?
Sworn to do hereby state the following information is true and correct to the best of my knowledge and belief. He's employed by the Moscow Police Department in the official position of forensic detective. Okay, so we know that Mr. Mowry is a forensic detective, not just a technology detective. He's a forensic detective. All right.
So, like, what actually is the... So they don't have the weapon. Like, what is the evidence against Jokerberger?
Affidavit has been a trained and qualified peace officer for 12 years. Now, November 26th, I obtained a search warrant for Amazon. The warrant was served on November 26, 2022 by email, fax, email, etc. But then on December 8th, I received an email from Amazon which contained the requested information. So when I put on the timeline that on December 8th, the Amazon warrant came back, and I only present the facts on my timeline, that is where I get that from, okay? Now, you can see it continues, though. All inventory was prepared for all the items received. An inventory was prepared for all the items received. Now, wait just a minute. Wait just a minute. Now it's starting to get a little weird. An inventory was prepared for all the items received. Well, do you prepare an inventory for faxes and emails? Because it says right there, I received an email from Amazon which contained the requested information. You don't prepare an inventory for an email, okay? You prepare an inventory for all the items received, which means the actual items, the physical items, folks. So the information received was placed into evidence at the Moscow Police Department. Further, your affiant saith not. So the information received was placed...
Okay, let's put a pin in that for a second. I've asked ChatGPT... Okay, sorry, the touch DNA found relating to him and 2 other males. Want to know who the other males were? It's a guy who hasn't been super successful with Floyd's. I can say I've ever felt the urge to unalive women for rejecting me. Okay, so here, I've asked ChatGPT what the evidence is. I don't know what this is about, but okay. Bryan Kohberger is indeed connected to this case as he was arrested. Okay, well, we know that. And charged with the murders. The case is still ongoing. There's a lot of blah, 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 blah. to summarize the evidence that has been made public against Kohberger. DNA evidence. DNA evidence was reportedly one of the strongest links between Kohberger and the crime scene. Police obtained DNA from the scene of the murders and later linked it to Kohberger through genetic genealogy. They also took samples from Kohberger's family home to match the DNA found at the crime scene. Okay. Yeah, we'll check the based Grok response after this. Cell phone location data. Authorities have used Okay, but like if Kohberger's some like criminal genius, wouldn't he know not to take his phone with him? I mean, maybe not. Who knows? But authorities have used cell phone data to track Kohberger's movements. It was reported that his phone was near the murder scene at multiple points before and after the killings. This includes the night of the murders and just after they occurred. Kohberger was also allegedly in the vicinity at other critical times, which has raised suspicion. A tan leather knife sheath was found at the crime scene next to one of the victims. DNA on the sheath's snap was matched to Kohberger. Okay. Surveillance footage. Surveillance footage from nearby cameras showed a white Hyundai Elantra near the scene of the murders. Kohberger owned a similar car, and police traced it back to him. This car was seen near the crime scene on the night of the murders, which contributed to his identification as a suspect. Witness testimonies. There were also reports of witnesses, including people who lived near the crime scene, who could potentially identify Kohberger. The exact details of witness testimony have not been fully released, but they played a role in his arrest. Okay. Yeah, Tony. That's my understanding, is that Kohberger was like a criminology or criminal psychology guy. And my understanding was like they were saying that he was like so into criminology that he like wanted to do a murder just because he's a joker, I guess. Okay, behavior and social media. Kohberger's behavior and background are also under scrutiny. Investigators have looked into his previous interactions with the victims, including some online connections and social media activity. Additionally, some reports mention that Kohberger may have been a graduate student at Washington State University, not far from where the murders took place, which could suggest he was familiar with the area. Okay. Alleged motive. As for motive, the exact reasoning behind the killings remains unclear. The investigation is still ongoing, and authorities have not released a definitive motive. Speculation has included theories of stalking, personal grievances, or other psychological factors. Criminal profiling. There were over 10,000 Hyundai Elantras registered in Moscow in 2022. How many people live in Moscow, Idaho? Seems like a lot of Elantras. Criminal profiling. Kohberger's background in criminal justice, he was a PhD student in criminology, has led some to speculate about the possibility of a connection between his academic interest and the crime, so this remains speculative. Grand jury indictment, he was indicted by a jury. Okay, let's see what Based Grok has to say on the matter. What is the evidence against Brian Kohberger? Small town but huge college. Oh, okay. Did the police ever bother to question the 3 black people in the state of Idaho? That would have been where I started. Okay, the evidence. Okay, so DNA evidence. This is the tan leather K-bar sheath left at the crime scene on the button snap. They say that they matched it to public databases, and cheek swab that confirmed a statistical match. How reliable is like that type of DNA evidence? Is it pretty solid? Like, what are they getting off a button snap? Like, can they get like a little trace of skin or whatever? Okay, video and surveillance, white Hyundai Elantra, boo. Talked about that. Cell phone records, talked about that. Witness testimony. Okay, this one's new. Amazon purchase history. Prosecutors allege Kohberger purchased a K-bar knife, sheath, and sharpener from Amazon 8 months before the murders, matching the type of sheath found at the scene. While the defense argues other had access to the account, the court has allowed this evidence. Okay, behavioral and digital evidence. Koberger's phone browsing history showed searches related to the University of Idaho murders, a program about Ted Bundy, and a YouTube video about the victim shortly after the killings. His phone also contained dozens of photos of female students from the University of Idaho and Washington State University, some of whom were connected to the victims on social media. During a traffic stop, he made an offhand comment about the murders, saying, "It's really sad what happened to them." Okay, well. Okay, before we go, I had one here. There's one video that just from a couple days ago, and it's Brian Koberger's defense.
It was made from the roommate's call.
Suggests an alternate suspect theory. Let's check that out.
Her phone, excuse me. It was made from the roommate's call. Her phone, excuse me. And we're not going to divulge who made that call.
So they came here together. They eventually get into the same apartment together.
Is this your place?
Yeah.
Perfect. You know why we're here?
And I assume noise.
Noise, yeah.
Yeah.
And in the end, they died together.
Welcome back. This morning, as we give a voice to victims, we're keeping an eye on an Idaho courtroom where defendant Brian Koberger, the man accused of murdering 4 University of Idaho students, made a court appearance on Thursday. And his defense team is doubling down on their alternate suspect theory. But the judge wants some evidence to back it up.
Additional information. What I'd like is by the 23rd, if possible, for the defense to do 2 things. One, provide me with whatever actual evidence you have that supports those allegations, rather than just allegations. And 2, provide for me how it is you believe that what you are offering is admissible. Because it seemed to me much of what you had put in there was fairly potentially fairly objectionable in terms of admissibility.
Okay, so the judge wants to see some proof, and then, of course, the state's going to have an opportunity to review what the defense puts forward and then file their response. So the judge set a couple of court dates coming up for that. And so many motions have been under seal, so who knows if we'll get to see this ahead of trial. But, of course, we're watching the docket every day to see what else is filed. Let's talk about this idea in general, though, the idea that someone else did these homicides, or multiple people did these homicides, maybe not just one person. Let's talk about that defense theory. Let's bring back in our legal experts, Dave Ehrenberg and William Ehlenfeld. Dave, let me begin with you, please. Your thoughts on what the defense is seeking to do here?
Well, when you got nothing, you got to start creating something. I mean, they waited months before they could figure out an alibi for Brian Koberger, and it was that he was driving alone in the middle of the night looking at stars.
We had an early life check on Dave Ehrenberg.
In his hardtop Hyundai. None of this makes any sense. Might as well just let my Beagle do the closing argument because they're just throwing anything at the wall. That makes about as much sense as an alternate suspect, right? How do they get Brian Koberger's DNA on the knife sheath? How do you explain that? Some other guy set him up, planted it there, and then drove off in a Hyundai Elantra, which just happens to be Koberger's same car. And of course, Koberger can't explain where he was that night. No witnesses, no alibi for him. It doesn't make any sense. This guy did it. He's going down for it. I respect the defense lawyers for trying what they can, but the judge, you can see, is as skeptical as I am.
Yes. Dave, tell us how you really feel. Love everything you just said there, especially the part about your adorable dog doing the arguments. You know, I think we would all be here for that. Let me piggyback off of something you shared.
Sorry, 2 other people's DNA was on the knife. Huh, okay. But we don't know who those people are.
You know, when it's a defense team trying to deal with the bad facts, they've got a lot of bad facts, these attorneys who are representing Mr. Koberger. William, tell me, we've seen this team launching a rigorous defense for him. It seems like they're leaving no stone unturned. The motions they've filed, I commend these prosecutors for keeping up. I think it's got to be really hard with what they're doing. Could this have anything to do with the state seeking the death penalty? Would there be any repercussions for his defense team if they didn't explore the idea of another suspect, and then if he was convicted and sentenced to death then?
Yeah, that's a great point. And by the way, my Bernie Doodle Bettis might also want to have a crack at this trial in addition to Dave's people. But
yes.
Named after Pittsburgh Steelers Jerome Bettis.
Oh, that's so awesome.
when there's a death penalty case, these things, if there were to be a conviction and he were ordered to be sentenced to death, then that's going to be on appeal for quite some time. And at that point in time, new attorneys will be appointed, and it would be the job of those new attorneys to try to pick apart what his current attorneys did wrong. And so they want to make sure they cover all their bases and that they explore every potential theory. And I know at a pretrial hearing in this case early on, Julie, one of Mr. Koberger's defense attorneys said that they might have an expert who's going to say this crime could not have been committed by just one person, that he needed to have two perpetrators and two weapons. And what the judge is saying now, and I really like this, the judge is saying, look, give this to me in advance of trial. I don't want there to be games played. A quote from the judge is, I don't like surprises. And so the judge is going to allow the defense to submit this under seal. The judge is going to review it and see if it is really admissible evidence or...
Okay. Well, lads, I think I'm going to call it for episode 1 of Solemn Wednesday. Ann Taylor. Okay. I'm going to have to look up who that is. I'm going to... probably next Solemn Wednesday will not be next Wednesday. Next Solemn Wednesday will be on some non-Wednesday day. But I do want to keep continuing unspooling the thread on this one. I'm gonna have to do some research so I can kind of get a more cogent analysis of the situation. But thank you, lads, for stopping by. Can't be third. Yeah. Yeah. We'll keep looking into this one. I'll do some more research. But yes, 07 lads, thanks for stopping by. Probably be back with more Sonic Wednesday next week, but we'll find a time for some more Solemn Wednesday too. All right, take her easy, lads.